Hey everybody, it's Lori. I just wanted to share with you my latest little project, which is a journal. And I used some paper from Hobby Lobby that was put out by the Paper Studio. They finally got some new paper and it's absolutely beautiful. I love it. I don't usually buy the Paper Studio paper because it's kind of thin, but when I saw this one I couldn't pass it up. I thought it would make such a pretty journal. So this particular one, I bought several actually, because they've got several new ones that I like, but the one I made this journal out of is the Kirby Teesdale Studio paper pack. And just in case you haven't seen it, let me flip through it real quick here for you. It's really pretty. Very vintage. I apologize if you've already seen this one, but I just wanted to share it just in case. I love this page. And there's 4 sheets of each design. This is another really pretty sheet. A lot of collage sheets in here. And that's it. So let me go ahead and show you the journal. This one, just like the other journals I've made, I did kind of a vintage theme and did a lot of tea dyeing and spraying with different, you know, daubing them with different Tim Holtz inks and then spraying them with a lot of homemade sprays. So let me go ahead and go inside here. One thing about this journal, if you try and make a journal or do any tea dyeing with the Paper Studio paper, since it's so thin, it's really hard to work with. Once you get this stuff wet, I mean, we're talking, it's like tissue paper and it rips really easy. So if you're going to try something like this, be extra careful because you'll just mangle your pages if you don't. So on the cover here, I cut out a piece from that really pretty piece of paper that I like, and I did some distressing around the edges with the Tim Holtz Distress tool, and then I used some distress ink to go around the top of that, and I used a piece from the same sheet on the back. And then on the spine, I took a couple of pieces that I cut off of a table runner that has an eyelet pattern on it, and I stained that with some homemade sprays to make it look old and vintage. And then I took some seam binding that I purchased from a store on Etsy, and I wove it in there, try to make it look sort of like a corset, and then I just tied it in a bow on the top and the bottom. And then also I've got some metal corner pieces here that I got from Butterbee Scraps, and I've got those on the front and the back covers. And then I put another metal filigree piece from Butterbee Scraps on the front, just decorative. Doesn't really serve a purpose other than it's pretty. And then for the closure, I just punched a couple of eyelets in the back cover and wound some seam binding that I colored with some homemade sprays through the back so it can be used kind of as a belly band, and then it just winds around the front and ties in a bow. So I will just go ahead and flip through here. I've got a variety of stamps that I've used from Prima and Recollections and Graphic 45, and then where each one of the signatures meet. And by the way, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, 6 signatures in this one here. And for the stitching, I didn't do the Coptic stitch this time. I did the long stitch. So what that entailed was I did the front and the back covers with chipboard, and then I took a chipboard piece for the spine here, and I put it all together like as if I was going to make a mini album. But instead of gluing down the hinges to the chipboard piece on the spine, I just sewed the signatures right to the chipboard piece. So where each one of the signatures meet, I've got a different piece of lace here. This one's some eyelet trim that I colored up to make it look real distressed. And I'll just go ahead and flip through here, and you'll see a variety of stickers that I've got here that actually are the Paper Studio stickers and that match the paper collection. And then every few pages or so I put some journaling lines on here. And all I did for that was I just used a ruler and then the black soot Tim Holtz distress marker and drew some journaling lines every few pages. I'll just go ahead and flip through it. Lots of staining on these pages. I really like that vintage distressed look. Prima's got so many pretty new doily and trim stamps. I purchased a bunch of those recently, and so I used several of those in this little journal here. And then also a bunch of stamps that I picked up at a garage sale recently that I don't even think they had even been used. And they were only $3 a piece. I couldn't pass it up. Another piece of trim here. This came from a big kind of a craft and fabric sale that we have here in my town once a year. And I got tons of trims and lace for just a few dollars. It was pretty amazing. It was the first time I had ever been there. And here's another piece of wide lace. This one actually I think came from Lavish Laces from her Etsy store. And I'll put the links to the different stores that I mentioned in the description below. Another stamp that I got from a rummage sale. Another really big stamp. I love this paper. I'd like to make a mini album out of it. I just don't really know how well that would work since the paper's kind of thin, and I don't like it when you can see the glue, because I don't use an ATG gun or score tape to glue down my pages to the cardstock. I always use glue because I don't want them falling apart, and I don't like it when the paper is so thin you can see the glue bubbling up underneath the paper. So some more lace and trim that I picked up at that sale. And these stamps here are the Studio, what is it, Studio 112, is that what it's called? Let me look here real quick. Yeah, Studio 112 that I picked up at Joann's for $1. Got several really pretty ones. This is another one. And another piece of lace from Lavish Laces. I love the wide laces. They're my favorite. I get the most use out of those. I like to make pockets out of them in my mini albums that I do. And a couple more different kinds of laces from that sale. Another big stamp. And another piece of wide trim here. I think that came from that sale. Pretty sure it did anyway. And then, like I said before, you could use this for a little belly band for tucking little notes or tags or pictures or whatever you want in there. And that is my little vintage journal. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.